Hello and welcome to Backpage Pass Gameweek 25, where we'll be reviewing Gameweek 25 of the Premiership and looking ahead to Gameweek 26. I'm John O'Donnell. I've been joined by Eoghan Grace.
Hello.
And Mark Corcoran.
Hello.
And I'd like to begin this week by apologising. Last week I said to Luke, who couldn't be here with us this week for an unrelated reason.
He's dead? Why
Dead.
did anybody tell me?
No, he's not dead. I kind of made fun for Luke for suggesting that Urbi Emanuelson was Dutch, but it turns out that he's very, very Dutch and not Brazilian at all, like I thought. So I'd like to apologise to Luke.
Be a man and apologise to his face.
I wanted to, but he didn't come.
Must have been a reliable source he got it from.
Yeah.
So he asked. He was fairly upset when I told him he was Dutch.
Why was he upset?
He said because the two of you made him out to be a fool. On the
I
podcast.
didn't know. I didn't make him out to be a fool because I didn't know the answer.
I'm sorry, Luke. Anyway.
So that cancels out the whole Walcott thing.
No, it doesn't. He was wrong about Walcott for a long, long time. Anyway. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Mr.
Who?
Mr. Julio Cesar, who kept another clean sheet this week. It was QPR 0, Norwich 0, and Julio played well, yes?
Yeah, he played very well again. That's 2 in a row as well as the City game. He's getting a bit of confidence back.
Led into against England last night. But let's not mention that.
But he did okay. Yeah, he's playing a bit more confidence ever since he left. After the World Cup, he had literally no confidence, self-confidence in goal, and that's why he got dropped by Inter Milan and dropped from Brazil only up until last night when he got picked.
Must be hard being a keeper for...
It is. He was the best goalkeeper, arguably in the world, going into the World Cup, and then that mistake against Holland sort of tore his career apart partially.
There's a very good interview on TalkSport with the football agent extraordinaire Kia Drabchin.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Where he was on Keys and Grey, and they were asking him about QPR because I think he had a hand in some of the deals that went there.
Of course,
that would explain everything.
But what does that mean? But he was saying that QPR's original plan was to buy Ben Foster from West Brom, and they did all the sums and worked out that it worked out cheaper in the long run for them to bring in Cesar and Rob Green, and pay their wages for X amount of years than it would be to buy Foster and pay his wages. So that kind of confused me as to why would their plan be bring in 2 goalkeepers? Like, could they not see that was going to be a big...
We'll have 2 competing...
When has that been successful?
Never really.
Like,
Toldo
you can have 2 goalkeepers...
And Frey.
Sorry?
Toldo and Frey at Inter Milan, they were pushing each other pretty hard.
What Inter team, what did they win?
Yeah. Stuff. I forget. I don't
You know what I mean? Like, what... my point being that you can have 2 goalkeepers competing, but you're always going to have the experienced one and the understudy one. And the understudy has plans of, here, I'd like that number 1 spot.
Joe Harte overtook Shea Given and it was good for him.
Yeah, but the 2 of them there now?
No, but they did it for the year and it made Joe Harte a better keeper.
Yeah, but why would you bring 2... I presume they're not on... Both of them aren't on 1-year deals and the winner gets another contract. You know what I mean? They're both on long deals.
They sold Shea Given after about a year.
No, but I'm talking about QPR. Like, so the Man City was never the plan to have... We'll have these 2 fight it out.
Right.
Fight to the death and winner gets the gloves. So my point being, was that not just a false economy? Should you not have bought Ben Foster? Really what you wanted was a number 1 goalkeeper.
Well, I mean, Julio Cesar has possibly performed better than Ben Foster, so it may well have worked out for them. If it's cheaper as well.
If it's cheaper, but it hasn't, like, it's a false economy in that it hasn't translated to on the pitch success.
Suppose they are down very low, but I don't think having Ben
Low?
Foster...
They couldn't get any lower.
I don't think having Ben Foster in the team would have some...
Well, no, it's
mid-table.
not Ben Foster per se, right? It's the way of thinking was we can get 2 for cheaper than 1, when really you just need 1.
Oh, yeah,
Just pick 1, because you've completely undermined Robert Green.
Yeah, it would have been a lot cheaper to just get Julio. Stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kept Radic Journey
Yeah.
as,
Radic.
as an understudy.
But it's a very good interview actually in terms of, because there's a whole perception that Mark Hughes spent a bomb of money bringing on all these players, and in reality he spent 12 million. And
But
a lot of his
agents'
players,
fees, they were the third highest agents' fees with very low transfer, which is where it looks dodgy.
yeah, they brought in a load of free players because they couldn't get the targets they wanted. And they ended up brought in frees, and obviously agents are going to take a big slice of that when it's a free player. But because they think, well, ordinarily there'd be a transfer fee involved in this, so I'll just take the transfer fee. No, I'd definitely recommend listening to that because it gives a good insight into what's gone wrong at Man City.
I think I may well do that. In the match itself, though, Norwich's midfield kind of ran the show. QPR seem to be happy just to sit back and defend.
Yeah, well, I mean, QPR's thing since Harry Redknapp has took over, like it's kind of a bit like Trapattoni. Let's not lose.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll win somehow. And they've kind of got quite a few draws, I think. There's another example of a draw. So that looks better than losing all the time, but it's not going to keep you up. So they need to start winning games, particularly when the teams around them are picking up more points.
And Chris Samba seems to be an important part of their not losing plan.
For a player that's 40% fit.
40% fit, and probably one of the highest paid players in his 30s in the league at the moment.
He's only 29, isn't he? I think he is.
One of the highest paid central defenders. He's paid more than Vidic. Apparently, he's on 100 grand a week.
Yeah, I worked this out. If you take TV money out of it, if QPR just running off gate receipts, everybody in the stadium is paying him a $5.
Oh wow, that's cool. He's not worth it. Is he worth it? The argument was, you know, the way there's a lot of criticism for QPR, they're idiots. They've wasted their money. But then the other argument was, well, what would you expect them to do? Just take relegation line down? They've at least tried to do something.
Yes,
but they're still going down.
Yeah,
I think. I'd be shocked.
I don't know.
If they didn't.
I don't think it's as black and white as
Well,
it was.
they've cut it back to 4 points, which is is it 4 or 5 points? I thought it was 4 points.
I don't know. I don't have a table in front of me.
I
remember back in November we just decided they were going down, QPR were going down, and somebody else was going down.
Reading and Southampton.
Yeah, we decided they were all going down, but they haven't really gone down yet.
Well, Reading have shown some spirit. QPR don't really seem to have spirit. But QPR
have a lot of quality.
They do, but they have difficult home fixtures. I think they have home fixtures against Tottenham and Man United coming up in the next few weeks. So.
Yeah, but they'll just park the bus and not lose the way they have been.
Yeah. I think they drew with Tottenham a few weeks. So they went to the 0-0 with Spurs, City and Norwich.
Oh, okay.
At home, I think.
Well, United's coming up anyway.
Yeah,
not this weekend, the following weekend.
I see QPR they'll go on a late rally, like Portsmouth did a few years ago with under
a rally. They'll go driving.
Well, apart from that, yeah, they might do that during a break.
Sarcasm is the lowest form of which on
team bonding.
Team bonding, yeah. Well, I can see them getting a good few points towards the end of the season.
I do hope they go down though.
I do as well.
Newcastle 3, Chelsea 2, and Mo Sissoko. Mo Sissoko. I don't know how the rest of that song goes, but I'm very impressed with Mo. There's no limit to how much I've been impressed with Mo Sissoko so far.
Yeah, well, I didn't see very much of him in his debut against Villa.
Brilliant.
But he seemed to run the show against Chelsea, which obviously Chelsea aren't necessarily a great spot at the moment, but no easy feat, you wouldn't have thought. But I was watching, there was one particular part of the match where I think it was midway through the second half. I'm not sure if a goal came from it. I don't think the goal came from, but ball kind of was played up, and Sissoko was kind of played out towards the touch on, and Sissoko was on a kind of race for the ball with Ashley Cole, and he beat Cole to the ball and played it beyond him. And I thought the power of his running and the kind of directness and the strength of his running was kind of quite. He didn't have the raw pace, but it was quite reminiscent of Gareth Bale. And I just thought that would be a credible asset to have if this is a sign of things to come. Plus, he got 2 goals, so not a bad home debut.
And what you would have missed in the game against Villa was he played a true ball, so he can pass as well. It's not just power; it's also technique. Owen, have you been impressed?
We've been very impressed by Sissoko, but that's no surprise because he was always priority in Football Manager for me.
Oh, really?
Whatever club I went to, Sissoko.
Have you ever bought Coutinho?
I have.
How's that worked out for you?
Not as well as Musa. Hopefully, he has a similar start.
I saw. Sorry to come across you. During the transfer window, when Newcastle brought on these 4 players from France, 5 players from France. Jonathan Norcroft from the Sunday Times tweeted that Newcastle have taken this League One thing a bit too far. But I just don't understand if they're all of a similar quality. How are people missing out on a player like that? It was 1.5 million, was it, for Sissoko?
His contract was up the end of the season, so we had him signed up anyway. So it was just a case of, listen, we'll give you a few million for the end of the season.
Like Lewis Holtby, I think.
Yeah.
The same.
But how do people, other clubs, not like, okay, Newcastle are looking over there. Maybe we should look over there. There seems to be good stuff over there.
Everybody's looking at Spain and Germany. And Belgium.
Yeah.
Because they've just given up on France. Because what the France national team does is just implode every few years. So they go, we're not having any of that.
Yeah.
But they still have genuinely quality players.
Yeah.
What was I going to say though? The moments where the game seemed to change was the Colaccini Ba incident. Now, I remember a while back, I think it was Everton West Ham, where there was 2 red cards for dangerous play. And I defended the referee's right to send off the 2 players because they had their feet high. Now, I think this was different, although I still think it would have been fair enough to send Colaccini, but this was completely up to the ref's discretion. Colaccini put his foot up, but Ba was behind him, so Ba dove between player and the ball to headbutt Colaccini's foot, really. It all happened very quick.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as headbutting his foot. He was going for the ball.
Yeah.
2, you have to give a penalty for that. But there's a weird...
Why? Colaccini connected with the ball first.
He's booted him in the face.
I know, but he's...
like, you know what I mean? He's broken his nose.
He stood there between Ba and the ball. He's put his foot up, and Ba's dived from behind him.
No, I think you have to give... I thought Ba won the ball, though.
No.
Ball was bouncing, wasn't it? There to be won.
Mm.
But it was high foot.
How high was it, though? Because it was waist high.
Yeah.
It was booting him in the face.
Yeah, but he did kick him in the face.
He stooped down to put his face on it.
But still, even if you're to kick someone in the face, it's a free. Like, if you're to make a connection with someone's face with your boot, it's a free.
Yeah, I know. But
regardless of whether it's high or not.
But he wasn't looking.
I know.
This is my argument.
Maybe he should have been looking.
This is my argument. If I'm between you and the ball, and I go to kick the ball, and your face comes between my foot and the ball, after the ball's been kicked, I don't see what I've done wrong.
But I thought he won the ball before Colaccini won.
I don't think he did.
Well, I thought he did. But anyway, another point I was going to make, there was a League Cup final, and you might be able to help me out with this. I don't know, maybe I thought it was between Chelsea and
Arsenal.
It was between Chelsea and Arsenal.
Terry,
was it Terry that kicked him or got knocked out?
Terry got kicked by Sanya, I think, or Diaby.
Yeah. And my point is, they got knocked out, could have swallowed their tongue type thing.
Yeah.
And no one ever thinks, oh shit, that was a penalty. They just think, he just kicked him in the head.
Everyone just laughs for a few minutes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, where were we? Oh, yeah, just go kick. You know what I mean? It's like, how was that? He just booted him in the head. Like, that is definition of a penalty. You cannot do that. But they never get given.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Like I say, well, it could have been a penalty, could have been a red. I wouldn't have complained with either of those things, but I don't think they were.
Oh, Demba has to fly to Milan to get his face mask fixed so he can play football because of it. It was a penalty.
Well, he's insisting on going to get a designer one from Milan.
Well, no, I think it's to fit his face.
Yeah, sure.
It's Dolce & Gabbana. That's beside the point.
Arsenal 1, Stoke 0. Arsenal completed more than twice as many passes as Stoke, and Arteta completed over 100 passes. And Arteta, Diaby, and Wilshere completed more passes between them than the entire Stoke team. 1-0.
Yeah, but how often do the team with the most passes lose? Quite regularly.
No, not quite regularly. I'd say more often than not the team with more passes wins. And if it's twice as many passes.
Quite regularly.
Don't make me get statistics on you.
Oh, stat me out of it.
You'll be apologising next week, Mark.
No, it's quite regularly. It happens. But anyway,
Well, not when you're talking like Barcelona. They always win. And Xavi...
you could say that with anything. Like,
No,
you just
but
pick the very best out of anything and say, there you are.
No, but Xavi always attempts to get 100 touches, 100 passes. And
What was the possession last night, Ireland versus Poland?
I don't know.
Poland had way more of the ball. Who won? What
Ireland.
was the score?
Yeah, but no, but this is passes
Poland score?
completed. This is passes completed. This isn't about possession.
Well, okay, who had more passes? Poland.
Do you know that?
Yes. Me and Cormac were just... Cormac and I, excuse me. we're commenting on how Poland were pressing for the ball. They wanted the ball more. They were using the ball better. Much more comfortable on the ball than Ireland. As soon as Ireland were getting the ball, they were giving it straight back. Who won the match?
But
Now,
Poland,
you could stat me out of and say Ireland had 51% of the passes or possession, and they had 51 passes completed,
lucky
and
for you,
Poland
there's
only
no
had 50.
stats on that match, Mark.
Well, I'm sure if you looked, you could find them.
But no, my point is though, having slightly more passes is different. Poland didn't pass Ireland off the pitch. They didn't have twice as many passes as Ireland. They didn't completely dominate the match.
It was wasteful in front of goal, but they did may have had more passes. Like Liverpool were dominant in many games this season. First 20 minutes should have been winning.
Yeah, but always in the second half they wind up defending on their own line, kicking the ball away.
Anyway,
Not completing passes. Attempting passes without completing them.
Arsenal playing Stoke. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think your question was, should they have scored more?
Yeah.
Arsenal this season, in particular, haven't have had the amount of possession that they
Usually have.
Arsenal were known particularly the last 5 or 6 years. Okay, they're not winning anything, but at least they're playing lovely football with all the ball all the time. It's easy to have all the ball against Stoke because Stoke don't want the ball, so someone has to have it. Should they have scored more? I don't know. Like, is Giroud that clinical of a finisher? Did they really create that much?
What seemed to be the problem was Oxlade-Chamberlain was shooting when he should have passed, and Giroud was passing when he should have shot. I remember there was one cross came in where Giroud had the whole goal to aim at, and he just headed it back across goal.
Yeah.
Someone, it was just that kind of stuff. Just kind of.
Begovic did have a good game as well in the first half.
He did.
Yeah.
He'll be gone.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're going to get Butland in. I hope that goes horribly wrong.
It will.
They should sign 2 keepers
More cost effective.
on 1-year deals.
The left back, Arsenal's left back looks like a decent sign.
He looks Monreal, man.
Monreal, yeah. But apparently they've been talking about him from Malaga for a while.
He has his cap for Spain anyway.
Yeah, so that could be a good boy. Apparently him and Aspilicueta are best friends.
Yeah,
They're both from
Basque country.
what's that club though?
Athletic Club.
No, it's not Bilbao. It's
Osasuna.
Osasuna, yeah. Those two used to play right back and left back for Osasuna.
Then he went on to Bilbao, then on to Malaga.
So now they live in the same city again.
Yeah, so
Oh.
they're all delighted about it.
That's grand.
Ah.
See the way things work out sometimes.
Meet up and go for tapas.
And of course, one lives
Or burritos. I'm sure they have plenty of burrito bars over there.
North London probably, and the other lives West London, so they're about 3 hours from each other anyway. So.
Especially if there's a tube strike. Everton 3, Aston Villa 3. Is Jelavic a victim of Everton's improved reputation?
How do you mean?
Well, they've had to go more direct, which suits Anichebe, when they can't really play open football the way they were at the start of the season.
I
Because
think
they
he's
were
more
playing
a victim
good
of
football.
his missed chances. Because when he first joined the club, there was big hype about, look at him, he's scoring goals, he's great. And then he missed a few chances, and then second season syndrome, and that kind of weighs on your shoulders. So I think he's more a victim of that than anything else.
Yeah.
What he said.
Everton got a goal in the last minute. Can Villa be happy with a point, or should they be annoyed that they didn't win this?
But in that situation, you always have to try and find the positives for the next game when you're fighting relegation. So you have to think of it like this: going into the game, would we have been happy with a draw? The answer is probably yes. We got a draw. You have to go back to that default position. But they should have won that game, though.
Yeah.
You can't keep affording to give leads away, like so. And it's hard to think that Villa went to Anfield and smashed Liverpool, properly smashed them.
Yeah.
And then since then, it's just been absolute muck.
Nah, well, everybody gets lucky once a season.
But how can you just like from a fan's point of view? How can you accept that?
I think
That's what you can do. So
I
just
think
do
the
it.
Liverpool result was more of a fluke than all the other.
But was it though? Because they got 3 quite good goals. In that.
Yeah, but Liverpool were just wide open at that time of the year. They hadn't really settled in, and Lucas was
December,
out,
though.
and there was no
Just
storage.
before Christmas.
Yeah, but no, they were a different team before Christmas.
I don't know. Well, I just think it's frustrating if you're a Villa fan. But
Yeah.
then again, I'm not a Villa fan. So
Down with the Villa. Reading 2, Sunderland 1. Reading seemed to be causing all sorts of problems, and Ian Harte's delivery was the main weapon. Owen,
Okay, he's back.
he's back.
Back with a bang. At the start of the season, he wasn't really getting it.
Trapattoni beware.
He's Irish. Yeah, he's been playing well. He's got his chance ahead of Nicky Shorey, and he's proven that he can still do it at the top level.
how was Nicky Shorey keeping there of a team though?
Yeah, that went on too long.
Yeah, Nicky Shorey, come on.
Nicky Shorey was just making so many mistakes where you had to go, just give him a go. And then he gave him a go, and he hasn't looked back.
Yeah.
More of an asset to the team, I think, than Nicky Shorey. He doesn't have the delivery of Ian Harte.
And Jimmy Kebe, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was the guy that actually at the start of the season I said that once Reading got him into the team. That,
No, wait! That was me!
So yeah, no, you call that one right. But got 2 good goals, 2 good headers as well.
And West Ham 1, Swansea 0. Andy Carroll, I'm just saying.
Yeah, he scored his 2nd goal for the club.
But he played very well.
You see, Allardyce I think said that they weren't quite sure whether they're actually going to go through in the summer.
That's because Newcastle are going to buy him, that's why. They were just going to drive up the price. So
And so you'll get relegated then.
won't happen.
Ben Arfa gone the other way, perhaps.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because he wants to
To,
go
to Liverpool or to West Ham?
to Liverpool.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Well, he wants to go play for PSG. I don't know if PSG want him or...
He just said he wants to play.
I think this could be another Odin Wingy thing where he's gone, I want to go there.
It'd be a lot harder to get back in time for training the next one. Yeah.
I think he's over there anyway training. Cause he's injured. Yeah, so go on. Off to Paris you go. But Nolan seems to play better when he's playing with Carroll.
Yeah.
Those two.
Well,
a lot of
he
chances
kind of
for
lives
him.
off the knockdowns and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, I'm not saying that Carroll hasn't worked out at West Ham because his early season form was quite good, but it's just goal scoring record was not good.
Mm.
You know,
Well, he was injured a lot.
2 goals.
Leave me alone. Wigan 2, Southampton 2.
and sorry, one of those goals was a consolation goal
Yeah.
when they're 3-0 down.
I remember that. He scored it.
Celebrating.
He was so happy, but also sad.
I didn't want my first goal, not like this.
Wigan 2, Southampton 2. Southampton played really well again, but Maloney's last-minute goal means Pochettino is still looking for his first win in the Premier League. And I can't breathe today.
Yeah, they're playing well, and they how many draws is that? 3 now for Pochettino. That's not too bad.
Hasn't lost either, but he just has one.
Yeah, once they get that win, they can go forward with a bit more confidence. But they're playing okay.
Mm.
It's still kind of teetering on the brink of a disaster waiting to happen in that he doesn't really able to communicate with his players. So they still kind of are playing quite well, but that could easily be trying to impress the new manager.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily down to him. Disappointed though. It's real sickener. That was a kind of relegation 6-pointer, and with 5 minutes to go, you take the lead and you can't hold on. So
But it's Wigan. They've been in the bottom 3 for a good few weeks at this stage.
they don't care.
That's what I was saying. Is there any point in getting worried, or will they just?
Once April comes, they're fine.
Yeah.
They'll win at Arsenal, at home to Man United, and then they'll be okay.
And then the late kick-off on Saturday was Fulham 0, Manchester United 1, courtesy of a Wayne Rooney goal. It was close, but United's firepower just carried them across the line. Would Berbatov have made a difference if he had played?
Nope. Oh, for Fulham. I thought you meant for United's firepower.
No, he doesn't play for United anymore.
I thought that was what your question was. No, because Fulham caused United a lot of problems through quick play, and he would have slowed it right up, and that would have suited United to get back in position. So
Yeah, there was a lot of moves, like the Jaga to Rodiega, or Rodiega to, I forget who else was playing.
It doesn't matter when your jacket on it.
Thinking about that one for a week, haven't you?
It was actually Mark's I stole.
Oh,
I was thinking about it from God knows when.
It's been brewing.
What I wanted to say about this match is that in the 2006-2007 season, in about March or April time, United played Fulham away, and it was 0-0 at about the 89th minute, and Cristiano Ronaldo picked the ball up on the left-hand side at the halfway line, and ran at Fulham, to pretty much where Rooney was when he scored that goal, and stuck it in the same corner. And that game from that season, because the previous 2 seasons before 2006 and 2007 had been Chelsea just dominated United and walked the league titles. So that game is looked at as the kind of the moment when United kind of made the league concrete and won it back. And it's kind of an interesting parallel that to move 10 points clear is a significant moment, and there's a real parallel between the 2 games that Rooney picks it up late in the game and sticks it in the same corner. Same kind of finish. It wasn't as late in the match, but there's a kind of interesting parallel between those 2 games. And 10 points is a big gap. I know they cut it back to 9, but still a long way to go. But it's still quite a big gap to kind of peg back.
Yep.
No, that's not something you can.
Owen, any?
no, it's a good analogy. I remember that game as well. It was quite sickening. I remember all the United staff running down the line. I think that about Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo was like running over to the bench, and Gary Neville came out to hug him because he was pointing at the
bench.
And I don't know if Gary Neville thought he's pointing at me. You want to celebrate with me? And then so Ronaldo or Neville went over to him, and Ronaldo kind of pushed him out of the way. He's like, "No, Heinze. I was pointing at Heinze."
Oh yeah, now I remember.
Gary Neville's like, "Well, I'm still celebrating."
Sunday's games: West Brom 0, Tottenham 1, and Clark looked to be trying to exploit Spurs' high backline with 2 quick strikers until Popov asked to pop off the pitch with his little incident.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. It's a disgusting thing to do, but up until then, they were playing well, and they could have held out till half time at 0-0. Who knows what could have happened in the second half,
Has his ban been announced?
No.
I think we're expecting 3 games though.
Should be more.
It should be. Spitting is one of the lowest things you can ever do to some football pitch or any walk of life. It's the most disrespectful thing you can do. Apart from me pissing on them. Spitting is up there.
I thought Walker's reaction was because you know the way usually when anything happens to a footballer, they just go down.
Yeah.
Go down.
You can't really go down under a spit, so
Yeah.
Walker just had to stand there with his arms out going, "Hey."
Well, Bale as well saw it, so he alerted the referee as well. So
I thought it was the right way to react because you don't want to walk away from that. So
Mm.
you have to make a big deal out of it. Make sure he gets punished for it.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous though, but
Cost his team the match really,
yeah, what
potentially.
Hope, what hope do you have? Really? Your chances of getting in the game, home or away, are decreased when you get sent off. How long was there go? It was just before half time, was
it
it?
was a couple of minutes after
Just-
sending off, so just before half time.
Yeah.
And West Brom fans were singing that Bale is too good for Spurs. Did they have a point?
What was that song? How did that go?
Oh, I forget exactly how it went. Though I know they were singing he's too good for you.
Well,
Mr.
I
Bale's
like
too good for you, something like that.
Yeah, I like him in the league. I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him at another Premier League club. Maybe ourselves, but
Yeah, maybe Manchester United.
I might take him. I'll find a spot for maybe. I don't know.
I think he'd fit in at any top club.
You think he'd go to Real Madrid and play there? Barcelona?
You'd have
He
to
could go
play
away.
behind Ronaldo if he went.
Well, he wouldn't be attacking at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
What's the point?
They put him as a left back.
Yeah, but what's the point then? He's not renowned for his defensive.
No, but he can, and I think you have to look at him. I'd say in Italy he'd be a striker, and in Spain he'd be a left back.
Yeah.
He'd be wasted as a left back though.
I think
Absolutely wasted.
he is the priority for Real Madrid this year because when they get rid of Mourinho, they're going to do another mini Galacticos anyway, and try and.
Well, he's hardly Galactico.
Well,
He will be once he goes there.
No, Galactico's best player in the world every
yeah.
year. Bale isn't that.
But that year they did go in Galacticos. They bought Ronaldo and Kaká, and then they went off and got Alonso, who was considered a Galactico,
Hmm.
and Benzema. And
Well, Alonso's won a World Cup.
Bale
Bale
hasn't.
hasn't.
Scored against Austria last night though.
Well, that's practically the same thing.
Well,
I think when there's a player, I think you can count them as like electrical when they're that hyped and
high price. It'll be
Yeah.
a high price.
yeah.
I suppose. Man City 2, Liverpool 2. Agar came through the back of Dzeko and was holding his short in the build-up to Sturridge's goal. What's that all about, Owen?
Wasn't a foul.
What the?
Wasn't a foul.
See, you can't tell this because it's an audio medium, but he had a serious face on there.
Wasn't a foul. I mean,
It was a complete
Let
foul.
him finish. I want to hear.
no. When you can get the ball and hit the man, if it's a good physical
And reef his
challenge-
shirt.
I don't know about the pulling the jersey. I
He
don't.
had his hand on his shirt.
Let him finish. Let him
Reef
finish.
If you
And
have
he
your
was kicking
hand-
his legs.
Let him finish.
If you get your toe to the ball and you take the man, it's a clean tackle. Clean tackle.
That was
Just on that, right? I wanted Liverpool to win.
Mm-hmm.
That was a foul. I'm sorry. I think like this has happened to myself, my own team, but like he went through Dzeko and maybe got the ball, but he went through him. But the point about that is, there's about 30 seconds before the goal.
Yeah.
Get over it, like
I know. Liverpool
Get
still
over
had
it,
a
like-
chance to get it away.
he wasn't hurt, so get off
Yeah.
the ground and get back and defend.
Yep.
And then it's a bit cheap then Mancini turn around to the 4th division and saying, here, that was a foul and we've conceded. You had plenty of time to set up your defensive shape. So that comes down to your defensive frailties that goal was conceded. Javi Garcia fumbling with the ball, couldn't get it under control, and a great finish from Sturridge. So
Yeah.
you have to get over it. It's not like he failed and then they shot. It was like a good 30 seconds ago. Move on.
And Aguero's goal, how much of that would you blame Reina?
99%
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Ever since you told me he's going to Barcelona, he's been making a fluff a week. And he was already pretty high rate of fluffs this season before that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's entitled to them.
It's not going to work at Barcelona.
Are they entitled to them when you're paid that much?
I suppose, well, David De Gea, Andres Lindegaard.
Yeah, but look at the scrutiny De Gea is under. Like,
Yeah.
people want him dead. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas Reina is grand. Like, he's
Yeah,
fine.
he's going to Barcelona. He's
Yeah.
the best keeper in the world.
Well, Ryan has been getting a lot of stick from Liverpool fans this year anyway.
Yeah, he
Um,
deserves it.
Deservedly so, but I don't know what he was trying to do. He should have shouted for the defender to go for the ball.
Scarlett was going for it.
Yeah,
They must have killed him in the dressing room afterwards. Like,
because
before the match, like, interviewing Jared, and he's kind of saying, Shreves was saying to him, what are your chances? Like, how do you fancy coming here? And he's like, well, it's one of the most difficult grounds in the country to go and get a result, so we'll give it a go. But, like, we just have to lose to all of them. Like, so, like, who knows? And then to get 2-1 up after, like, they pegged you back once to get ahead again. You have to take your chances. To give a goal away like that was criminal. I thought Liverpool were completely in the driver's seat. I didn't see City scoring. Great finish from him though. But
I fell asleep.
during the game,
Yeah. It's one of those games where you just nod off.
well, I thought it was a very good game.
It
yeah.
was a good game. I just nodded off. I forget what I did. The night
City,
before.
I didn't think looked like scoring and then I know it came quite soon after the Liverpool's second goal, but desperate.
Oh, I was out on Saturday. That's what happened.
It's not
Sorry.
relevant to the match.
Sorry.
Desperate defending, but great finish.
great finish from Gerrard as well.
It was a good
Yeah, it
result
was,
for
yeah.
Liverpool, as we were saying earlier.
Good
About
result.
Everton. Or not about who were we? Villa.
Villa.
It-
They
They
take
set a
it.
point beforehand.
Yeah,
They would
like,
have taken
like the Arsenal game, would have taken a point before. Ended up being a draw. I mean, that's 4 points lost against City from 2 individual mistakes. Skirtle at Anfield and Reina again in the Etihad. So.
What about Jamie Carragher has come back into the team the last couple of games?
He's
and
retired,
is
hasn't
now
he?
retiring.
Yeah.
So you waited so long to actually like, no, they're not playing him. They're not playing. Oh, they're
Um,
paying me. Nah, I'll retire.
I think he's been given his chance because he's playing well. That's why he started ahead of Skirtle.
Or is he playing well, or is Skirtle playing terribly?
Well, he's not doing too bad, Skirtle, at the moment. He had a shocker against Oldham. But I think Carragher's probably told to move on at the end of the season anyway. I don't think he'd play for another club. So
That's a big mistake, though, to him to move on.
Meh.
From the point of view of keeping him around because he inspires the young kids.
Keep him around as a coach.
he will
Well,
now go as a coach.
I think he's taking a year out.
Oh.
and then they'll have to pursue him again.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up doing Gary Neville.
On
Anyway,
Sky. He is signed for Sky, I think.
well, there we go.
Well, I saw it on Twitter today, but I don't know if it's actually confirmed. But
He doesn't really like Sky, to be honest. Had to go with one of the reporters.
yeah,
there.
I saw that. Yeah.
After the
What
League
did he?
Cup
What
final.
he's like? Oh, you're the one that nearly lost your job, or
After
whatever.
the Wolves game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy Burton.
Yeah,
Andy Burton.
he's a bit of a leech, that guy. So
Yeah, nobody's a big fan of Andy Burton.
How do you mean a leech?
just tries to sucks the blood out, like information, like just ridiculous things.
He's a journalist then.
No, he's a sensationalist.
Yeah, he was pretty bad at the Euros. He was in charge of Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
the Kevin Foley, will he, won't he stay, or he'll never play for Ireland. He's just shit stirrer. Ireland shit stirrer.
Okay. Well, speaking of shits, we're going to take a break now.
Gotta run.
Oh! But that would mean we're leaving. We'll be back in a sec. Game week 26. Hold on. I should probably say welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Game week 26. Owen was playing with his phone. Is that right, Owen? Nobody knows. Early kick-off on Saturday, Tottenham versus Newcastle. They're usually pretty entertaining matches.
Are they?
Yeah.
The history.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you any scores, but I just...
Are Newcastle, Liverpool not the kind of entertainment?
Well, yeah,
the
no, but
4-3s and all that.
Tottenham, Newcastle are always good too.
Yeah.
Newcastle, Arsenal, Newcastle, Tottenham, Newcastle, Liverpool. Good games, all.
Yes, well,
Manchester United too.
with Newcastle.
Yeah.
United tend to win those 6-0.
Yeah. Didn't think about that before I said that one.
Yeah, no, can't see it being a nil or draw or anything. There should be goals in that game. And
Mo.
yeah, I see a score draw from that one.
Sissoko, Bale versus the new Bale.
Well, I didn't say it was a new Bale. I said there was an aspect of him that reminded me of Gareth Bale. The intensity of his running. But anyway, not that you were listening.
Playing with your phone or something.
Yeah, I was getting text. Leave me alone. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I'm not with it today at all.
2-2. That's what I say.
2-2. Own prediction.
2-2 as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's see. Right, you go first. And who do you have as the scorers?
The scores, Eoghan Grace and Johan Gouffran.
Gouffran, you good thing.
And then for Spurs, we obviously have Bale and probably Michael Dawson.
Ooh.
Michael Dawson.
There's like a 50-50 chance he won't even play.
That'll get you serious money if that comes out.
Yeah, get down your bookies.
I see Cisse getting one.
Cisse?
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Wigan. Would you fire Benitez if he loses this match?
Fire him.
Yeah.
And then hire the interim manager.
Yeah.
No. That doesn't make
He's
any
doing
sense.
such a bad job, though. His job is to get them back in the Champions League, and he's doing a really horrible
Is he doing
job.
a bad job?
Yeah.
Why is he doing a bad job?
Did they draw it?
They drew at Reading.
They drew with Reading.
And they lost.
They lost to
winning 2-0.
QPR, yeah. What's your point?
They drew with...
They lost to Chelsea and then drew at Southampton and lost to QPR at home.
Reading.
Oh, we're talking about Chelsea now.
And Swansea knocked
Chelsea,
them out of
that's what you said. Wait, what?
and Swansea knocked them out of a cup as well.
Yeah, they're out of all the cups. They're not going anywhere in the league.
But what do you want them to do? Like, you know what I mean?
Win some matches.
First
Win
of
some
all,
matches with your Hazard and your Oscar and your Mata and your Torres and your Ba and your Lampard and your Ramirez and all your brilliant players. Win some matches.
No. First of all, take a club, right, with players who now believe that they are more important than the manager, and if they don't like the manager, they think to themselves, well, I'll just see this guy out because he's only going to be here for a few months anyway.
This guy will only be here.
Right. B, hire an interim manager. Well, you've just told the players, this guy isn't going to be around for very long. Right?
Trying to get Guardiola.
Yeah. So the players automatically think, yeah, I'm going to listen to what this guy tells me to do. So what do you expect him to do? I think he's done okay. His team selections have been fine.
Have they?
Haven't they?
Oh, they'd be winning more matches.
What the players have to do.
You know, they wouldn't be losing to Newcastle. Relegation threatened Newcastle.
Yeah, who loses to them?
They lost to Swansea. They drew with Southampton. I mean,
They blew 2-0 leads against Reading and Southampton.
yeah. Sack them.
But Reading are coming from behind against everybody.
There's not a lot Benitez can do when his team is 2-0 up against really bad teams.
He got them 2-0 up. It's the players' job to actually
See the job out.
Exactly. But, no. You can't say, oh, everything that was good was him, and then everything that was bad was the players.
Yeah, you can't say everything that was bad was him.
Yeah, but I can say if we got somebody else in, maybe he'd do better.
Who? Who are you going to get in?
Double standard, Sean.
Yeah. Shut up. Who would I get in? Who's free?
As the interim coach.
Yeah. Who's good?
No one really.
That Roberto Di Matteo, he did well as an interim manager.
I don't know. I think
Jurgen Klopp. He won't go.
No, they
I
won't.
hope to
brain.
God he doesn't go there. I really just admire Dortmund and I don't want that to end, even though it will end probably in the summer.
Someone viable, actually, recently. Someone who's left.
Nigel Adkins.
Yeah, could be.
He's free, yeah.
Yeah.
And
He did a good job at Southampton, supposedly.
yeah, well, he got them up the leagues, didn't he?
Yeah.
David Moyes. is
Moyes be
tipped.
out of his mind to go there.
I know, but he's been tipped to.
And
take
he's
over
not
the
too
club.
happy at Everton.
Well, if he goes there, he says, I gave it a go, and he will get another job after the Chelsea job
Yeah.
at a club like Villa.
He'll have money to spend, which he did.
But he won't be on his players, though.
Well,
They
he'll
wouldn't
bring
appoint.
Varane.
They won't bring in a manager without kind of trophy-winning experience and give him the transfer budget that let the technical director buy the players.
Well, in fairness, they've got the best of the best over the last few years, and it hasn't worked out in Abramovich's eyes. They got Ancelotti, won the double, sacked him. Scolari won the World Cup, sacked him. Hiddink was.
Hiddink
interim.
could have been a good one if they had got him.
Yeah.
He's-
Is he free now?
Angie, the catch guy.
I
Yeah.
hate them. They ruin everything.
What a waste.
I know, yeah.
Ancelotti was a big mistake getting rid of him.
Yep.
Big mistake.
That's
But-
Scolari. I'm getting rid of ABB. Huh?
No, well, that comes back to the players' power and all that kind of stuff because they didn't like Scolari.
Training
So-
wasn't intense.
Yeah.
Apparently.
At the point being, you have to keep Benitez goes in the summer. To appoint him full time would be a mistake
Mm-hmm.
because players don't want him. You've undermined him by giving him the
You know,
interim.
in summer, get rid of him now.
Well, just who like. why-
Unless you have Mourinho lined up.
I think Mourinho's a good chance you go.
Mm.
Good for the league though as well. Not good for myself personally, but good for the league.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Spurs are better place for fourth place now, and I think Arsenal will catch them if they keep on in the form that they're on now.
Plus, if you sack Benitez now, how many games has Benitez got? 10, 15 games?
15, 20.
So
Because they had that
They
tournament.
haven't had
yeah.
20 games. I'm talking about league games.
Oh, league
mostly
games? No,
Hennish.
less.
So, does that mean next manager starting next season they have to be top of the table, like doing well at Champions League, doing well at Carling Cup because you wouldn't have played the FA Cup.
Well, you get
without-
the honeymoon, like with Pochettino. When
it's
Benitez
Benitez-
came in, they got a little honeymoon.
Yeah,
Get
but
another
is he
honeymoon.
not-
Just have 2 more honeymoons for the season, and you might qualify for the Champions League.
But you can't sack the interim manager. He's the interim manager. They sacked Di Matteo. Like,
That's the whole point. He is the interim manager because they sacked the manager. You can't just keep sacking people. It doesn't work. Make Terry the manager then.
Yeah,
that would
fine.
make more
Terry
sense.
give Terry the manager's job to the end of the season.
he won't be happy until Abramovich is the manager himself.
And also, you can't give Terry the manager's job
Why not?
because he doesn't have the coaching badges, so
But
he
they've
wouldn't be
done
able
this
to.
before.
Do you know Bolo Zenden can't stand in the technical the
He
area
sits behind him, yeah.
because he hasn't got the badges. He's physically not allowed
Well, they
standing
can't stop Terry from standing on the pitch.
as player manager. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I just think don't sack
Or
him
in the
this.
dugout as a sub,
Yeah, I think that would just be a
not in
farce.
the technical area.
He could be giving out instructions while pretending to warm up.
Passing notes.
He'd be out of his technical area though. He'd be at the corner flag
Yeah.
in his grind stretch.
Fully kid. you have to wear warming up bib. Shut up, ref. Anyway, Norwich versus Fulham. Meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you are. Norwich coming off a 0-0 draw, and Fulham coming off a 1-0 loss. So
Yeah.
they're in great goal scoring form. These two teams.
Stoke versus Reading. Come on, Reading.
Yeah, we hope Reading win.
Nobody's going to want to pass at all. There'll be no passes completed that match.
Alan Lafondra was like, "Come on, I scored 2 goals," and then you started Blackman. You got that wrong the last day. Whatever.
No, we were calling Blackwood. We were calling
Yeah.
Blackman Blackwood. Blackwood Blackman.
Yeah. So that's what we got there.
You
Yeah.
heard that, right? Do you remember Richard Blackwood? His name is Richard Blackwood, not Richard Blackman.
Oh,
as
is
we
it? Yeah.
thought it was.
Blackman. Easy mistake to make.
We love you, Abby. Not enough to remember your name, but Just remember some of your songs, kind of.
But Fondren was like, I scored 2 goals and they put this guy in ahead of me. What's up with that?
So more than 2 goals as well. He's been made.
But in the week before,
Player of the month.
Yeah.
And manager month, Brian McTurner.
Yeah.
Future Ireland manager.
Yeah.
Or at least he likes to. We would like to think he is. But
I remember hearing that somewhere a couple of times.
What's wrong with your wall?
I don't know. It just looks odd.
Okay. Also, I'd like to see Reading win that game as well. And
I could see a score draw.
as long as Reading don't lose and keep up their kind of small bit of momentum, that would be good.
Sunderland versus Arsenal. Sunderland's freshly bolstered attack versus Arsenal's consistently weak defence.
Yeah, I could see an upset there. Arsenal are playing okay. All seems to be getting better, and then bang, they go to Sunderland, and they can't cope with the cold of the northeast, and they lose. Sunderland they beat City there this season, I think. So they have
Sunderland is City's bogey team, though.
They have that in them to beat a big team, so I could see them getting a result. Good result.
I think Arsenal win that. I think they'll be comfortable enough as well.
Yeah, I think they'll have a lot of passes too. Mark.
Yeah, well, that's just one trait of one team. So, like, perfect example. When was the last time Arsenal beat Man United?
I don't know, but United
back
have as
quite
much.
a few years.
But United would have as much
Every
of the ball.
single game, Arsenal have more of the ball. Just go have it. When we take it from you, we will counter and score. Pal, and you'll never learn from it.
But United have better strikers than Stoke.
Yeah, but like that's not the point. Like you're saying, right? So we have more passes, so we should win.
But yeah, Arsenal have never had twice as many passes as United in a game.
Arsenal have never had twice as many passes
as United in a game.
But so what?
But that was the point I was making earlier.
Twice. So what if they have 3 times as many passes? Like
they should win
by even more goals.
Yes.
No.
It only happened once. It was Spain v Ireland.
They had 3 times as many passes.
I think it was like 7 times. Was it? It would have been 7 times. It was 900 to 120 or something.
Oh, yeah.
And we lost quite severely.
Yeah.
Swansea versus QPR. QPR have been battening down the hatches of late, but Swansea are the league's best lock pickers.
I was going to say bum pickers there, sorry.
I wouldn't mind if the first word was bum.
No, it's Kieran always says that word, so it's innate, really. Like,
who's picking whose bum now?
1 in 8 people pick their bum, apparently.
What?
He said it's an 8.
innate.
1 in 8.
1 in 8. Very good. You can cut it out.
Yeah. I don't really care about that much. Southampton versus...
It'll be a draw.
Yeah, draw.
Yeah, QPR do that. Southampton versus Man City. Pochettino has Southampton playing on the front foot, and it's been the best way of getting at City this season. They don't like it up them.
Yeah. Especially after what we just talked about.
Pickers.
No, they're not bum pickers because they don't like it up them. Anyway, I kind of have this theory that if a big team, Manchester City, goes to play a small team, Southampton, they're less likely to actually get the win or win in style if it's a 5:45 kickoff. I think they always seem to be a much tighter game. That's my impression of it. Facts probably.
Maybe it's just because you're watching them. Maybe they're all like that. You're definitely watching if it's on at 5:30.
Yeah.
Whereas you might miss it, might be on and might be another game on.
Yeah, it's just my impression. They always seem to be tricky enough games. But
they drew at West Ham, I think, and they're all at 5:30 this season as well.
Yeah, that's true.
They did struggle against Swansea, I remember as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was at the Liberty or at the Etihad.
But you'd have to fancy City to win that game, though.
Yeah,
you just would. But that'll put it back to 6 points. So we'll go with City to win that. 2-0.
1-0 City.
And on the Sunday, Aston Villa versus West Ham. Villa are bad at set pieces. West Ham have great delivery and big forwards. Easy win for the Hammers.
Big forwards that can't score.
Nice. Scored the last match.
The Villa win.
You can what?
Yeah, Villa win.
Really?
Yeah, a surprise win because they got the draw last week and they'll be wanting to improve on that. After thrown away a lead like that.
Yeah,
So, like,
I can see. I think if Villa get the lead, if they manage to get the lead, I can see them holding on to it this
But
time.
they're really bad at holding on to the leads.
Yeah, but you have to learn from them sometime.
But when?
But maybe they can
This is the week.
But West Ham aren't necessarily the team that are going to come storming back.
Yeah.
When they played QPR, the QPR took the lead and West Ham equalised. But how many chances did West Ham have, and they couldn't get themselves over the line? So maybe they're not the team that actually come storming back.
Manchester United versus Everton. This was the fixture that kind of cost United the title last year.
Yeah, that was Everton.
Yeah.
Ruining my trip.
Oh, you were there at the 4-4.
That was a great game. I would be shocked if that wasn't referenced, brushed upon in the pre-match. Basically, don't feck it up like you fecked it up last time. 3-1 and 4-2 up, and they couldn't hold it with 5 minutes to go. So, and even Rio Ferdinand had a shot at the very end of that match. Tim Howard made an amazing save. So that was a great match. Has the potential to be a great match again, but I wonder will United have an eye on the
Real match.
Real Madrid match. So could be a good match. Can see it be just the odd goal in it, but Everton will score.
Oh.
2-1, I'd say, to Man United.
Oh.
So Everton will score and the odd goal in it.
Liverpool versus West Brom, battle for Europa League place, I think.
And the Monday night, yeah.
Yeah.
Hot potato. I don't want it.
West Brom becoming just another bunch of mid-tablers if they lose. Liverpool, not so much.
Yeah, West Brom can go now without fear because they hammered Liverpool at the start of the season, and they haven't.
I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
No bother. I know it was an unlucky day for Liverpool. They were out of the race for fourth now, West Brom and Liverpool. West Brom thought maybe they keep getting decent results, they could push for fourth. That's not going to happen now, but they can push for a Europa League place.
Liverpool could conceivably be in the race for fourth place a lot more than they are now if they had held on for wins in the last. At Arsenal and at City, they've been because I think
5 points.
I think you were on level with points with Arsenal when you played them, but Arsenal had a game in hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had won there, that would have been a huge win. Like.
Mm-hmm. They didn't.
They didn't, but that just shows like it's the small margins in it from actually being a contender to not being a contender. You had the lead and you couldn't hold on to it. Hardest bit is actually getting the lead, you know. So,
but Liverpool are good at home, so recently
you haven't actually beaten a team though in the top half of the table.
Yeah,
so
and pretty bad at home this year as well.
Well, the last
since Sturridge signed.
Yeah, well, since Sturridge signed, yeah, they've been okay. They've won 5 of the last 7.
Well, there we go.
At home.
Well done, Daniel.
5 wins, 2 draws.
Has he been there that long?
No. 3 or 4 of those games. He was there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Liverpool win, though.
Liverpool, I don't know. I think Shane Long could do something. Anyway, that's it for another week. We'll talk to you next week. I've been John O'Donnell with Eoghan Grace and Mark Corcoran. That's your name.
Yeah, I'm still Mark Corcoran.
He's still Mark Corcoran. Not that some things just don't change, no matter how much you want them to. Sorry, that was horrible. Anyway, Facebook and YouTube. We'll talk to you again next week. Mark, will you...
They must be on something.
Yeah.
They must be on something.
This is going to sound a bit shit today. I think the thing is just frozen.
With the cold?
Yeah.
Does anybody else's phone have serious difficulties with the cold?
No.
Mine has been going a bit slow actually recently. In the last week when it started snowing, I've been getting texts a couple of hours after.
Oh, I had a bit of that actually as well.
Mine, the screen scrambles on the cold, and I have to put it in between my hands, and then it'll warm up and start working again.
Really?
So it's like kind of a bit like what's that when you put on like the AV on your TV and it's all kind of like white and black. You know, like
your phone goes like that.
It does, but you can kind of see the picture behind it. So, say if there's red at the top, the white and black would be red.
Oh yeah.
So it's all kind of foggy.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. If I put my phone in your freezer for 20 seconds, that'll do the trick.
Yeah, that could also do some damage.
Yeah,
to the phone.
but that's one. It might even be like that.